Hello everyone, my name is Kyle Johnson, or hopefully Mr. Johnson in the near future. This is my website for a high school Algebra 1 course I hope to be teaching in the future. All things considered, with my many personal issues and obstacles I had to overcome this semester, I'm pretty happy with the completion of the website, though I know there are some areas that can definitely be refined or polished up. In particular, I don't like the white background anymore. I really wish I would have done something with that. Also, if you couldn't tell from the name of the website, the topic for my DUR focuses on is the introduction of mathematical functions. As I mentioned throughout the site, functions are the backbone of many STEM fields, and understanding what they are is crucial to a math student's success. I built the site with a ninth grade Algebra 1 class in mind, and these are a few of the standards I covered. Um, while I did cover graphing polynomial functions in my lecture guided notes section, I didn't get to cover identifying zeros or end behavior. And I also intended to cover maxima and minima of functions, but ended up falling short on time, so I had to cut those as well. Finally, rounding out the homepage is a contact area for students to reach me. Pretty standard. I hope to be readily available for my students with a quick response time when I am an educator. Why do we need math? I'm sure this is a question all of us have asked at one point in our lives. Here I wrote out a little bit of mathematical history and its origins. Also mentioned that nearly every profession or hobby in existence involves math in some way. I also shared one of my favorite videos, The Map of Mathematics, which looks at all of the concentrations of math and gives a brief synopsis of what that field entails. If you hit play and pause here, you can see there are other maps for other subjects. If you're interested in checking them out and maybe adding them to your own website, I highly recommend them. Why study functions in particular? Again, here I state functions are the backbone of many STEM fields. I also give a real life example of a simple function, which was a vending machine. And I try to strum up some interest in the topic by explaining functions can be used to predict the weather or changes in the stock market. For the useful links section, I gave some general math assistance sites. Really, the main two I would recommend would be Desmos or Khan Academy. Those are the ones I seem to use the most. And now that I think about it, actually, I would probably also add YouTube as a general math assistance site, as it's one that I'm constantly using. The other few were really only there just to meet the assignment criteria. Also, I added some community links, which I would update depending on the school I work at. For now, I just have links to my old alma mater, Mesa High, Go Mustangs, class of 2006. Finally, a few important health links directed at teen health. These can be really important. I had some issues finding good digital interactives, but ultimately came with these. Graphs of the Galaxy is a game that introduces slopes and y-intercepts. This function builder website has different levels of difficulty building functions or equations. And this Desmos activity looks at the relation between slope and its effect on position and distance. But easily my favorite interactive is the calculating passer rating. I'm a big sports fan, and I'm actually currently wearing my Packer jersey as I record this. 2021 NFL champs, baby. For my internet use section, I stress the importance of being a quality digital citizen. I included links to free antivirus software, Connect Safely, which provides a number of internet safety tips, and a link to a password management tool, Bitwarden. I also included a video for teens made by teens, which promotes internet and social media safety with how prevalent and destructive social media is on mental health. I think it's an excellent video to include in this section. For the assistive technology section, I chose to showcase calculators and the FM listening systems. It's funny because when I was in high school, it was before the rise of smartphones, and we were told we had to learn computations, how to do them without a calculator because we wouldn't always have one in hand, which I find funny, seeing as now not only do we have a calculator on us at all times, we also have something that can take a picture of an equation and solve it. Anyway, I gave some links to two good calculators, the TI-36X Pro and the TI-84. And I also explained how FM listening systems work. For the graphic organizer section, I chose to have students create a Poplet that will cover these standards. I had some issues getting the Poplet site to cooperate the first time I used it, so I included a tutorial video. This assignment focuses on function vocabulary and connecting equations and their graphical representations. Students are also asked to conceptualize functions and provide real-world examples of something that is a function and something that is not a function. I'll also be pairing students with partners to discuss any similarities they have, as I think students interacting with each other promotes thinking. And finally, the rubric. And here I provide an example for reference. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. So full disclosure, I was not able to complete the assessment section of the website on time as I had some pretty serious personal matters I had to attend to, and I never got around to completing it. I only have a summative assessment, which I would assign at the end of this unit. I did add a test-taking strategy video and also a mantra of "I believe in you." I think some students need that positive encouragement to be successful. I know I did, and I still do. Here's the digital assessment. I did find this one online. It had everything that I wanted to cover. So I did my best to credit the author of this assessment, but I just found it on Google, and the only link I could come up with was this. So here's the link to the original exam. I chose to go with a choice board for this part of the website. I try to split it up into three sections. The create section where they'll create something, where they'll present something to the class, and this digital section where it's a digital activity. Students are required to choose one from each row. I also included a link to the internet use section to make sure they are aware of safety information before they start the assignment. Here is description, in-depth description of each activity that they'll do. One of my personal favorites is the choreograph a dance to 10 parent functions. There's a link to a dance video, which you should definitely click on and check out. It's really fun. Yeah, here are the digital assignments. Pretty straightforward. And finally, we've arrived at the section I'm most proud of. I put a lot of time and effort into making this PowerPoint presentation, which covers transformations of functions, and as well as the accompanied guided lecture notes. Here, the students can just click on any one of them, and it takes you to a PDF that they can download and fill in as I present. So students, yeah, fill out the guided notes as we progress through the PowerPoint. Here I outlined the learning objective for the lecture and the corresponding standard. And to begin the lecture, I asked students to get in groups and discuss everything that they know about functions so far. As I said before, I believe group work with other students promotes thinking, and this actually occurs throughout the lecture. So here they brainstorm everything they've learned regarding functions, and then we get together as a class and discuss. Here we just go over some parent functions. And they go over parent functions before I engage them with a question, which they then explore in their groups. And then I just repeat this process again for compression and stretching of graphs. We revisit the function and they discuss in their groups again what happens when this occurs. And then I finish the activity off with more group work where they put everything they've learned together to graph these functions. And they also look at these graphs and then build the mathematical function that maps them. Um, and yeah, that's my website. As I said at the beginning, there's a few things I would go back and change, but I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the work that other students have made. And yeah.